Welcome to the Cinematic Doors podcast.
Live from Detroit.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for listening to our show. This is episode 14, and
Wow.
your hosts, Jordan Clark, and
Joshua Dore.
are here.
Yeah.
Going weekly. We've been on schedule. I have to, just so you know, the video from last week is going up this weekend. We're not really going to share it, though, until we'll wait for a lull to share it in the middle of the week next week. But that way we're not doing two shares at the same time. Yeah. But we've been hitting our schedule. It's been good. And thank you for listening. We do have a bit of an audience. We can now see our Spotify followers on our listens.
Let's go.
And it says that there's 12. So
yeah, 12
like and share.
Strong.
Yeah. The audience always goes up and down depending on the week, but it's right now the estimated audience is 20 to 25, it says. So we just started, but we want to create more content, obviously, go weekly. So like and share with your friends. If you want us to do anything differently, let us know. But we do want to grow this a bit. So we are we're going to do some more social media posts starting next week throughout the weeks and starting to boost some of the posts and all that stuff. Now that I kind of wanted to make sure I could do the schedule before doing all that. So now we'll just keep our pace. But
keep going.
Go to our social media feeds. Go to Instagram at cinematic_doors. Go to Twitter at cinematicdoors. You can email us cinematicdoors@gmail.com.
I don't know how often I'll be able to keep saying this.
Right. And how do you spell doors, Josh?
Dores.
So
no apostrophe.
Yeah. And we're on TikTok. It might be blank, but we're there.
I think there's 2 followers because I used it as an account for something else before.
Yeah.
I used it for a movie thing where I just made a TikTok about my favorite movies, which I guess I privated it, but I could unprivate it again because I don't know. I enjoy it.
Starting point. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to start putting the handles on our video at the bottom now. I downloaded all of the little fonts for that, and I got that working on my other show for Enrich You or for Enrich Life. So now we'll have that for this one as well. So each time the video will look a little bit cleaner, and as I'm learning a new program, but it's a lot faster now.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
just rendering takes a bit longer, but the actual editing process is pretty fast now, so that I learned the program. Yeah. And it was a free program, which is awesome. And it's
really, that's always a win.
It's really robust. It's just, it's not the same language as Premiere Pro or any other program I've used. So you just have to learn it. But
computer language, or is it in Chinese?
So no, not language interface language. So it's not coding. Yeah, not Chinese. It's not, I'm not that smart, Josh. It's not
you
coding.
Just read in Chinese.
But each time you learn a video editor, you have to learn.
That's what you mean.
Right. For instance, not every video editor does transitions the same way. And so
iMovie has the best transitions.
Well, so for instance, I edit on a program that's on Linux. I use a Linux-based desktop to do my editing. And it's not click and drop for transitions. You literally can do fades, but you have to drag the clip a certain way to do a fade. Or if you want to do dissolve over, you have to put the one clip below the other clip and then go like this. So it's learning stuff like that. But once you learn it, it's so much easier because clicking and dropping, there's loading and stuff in between. This, you just click the clip and you drag it and it's fading in. It's super easy. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, it's just learning all of that. So, so each program has different, and Adobe Premiere does transitions differently, right? So it's not click and drop. It's another type of dragging and whatnot. But anyways,
as interesting as that was, I have some things to say from Peyton.
Yes. Okay. Peyton, who listens to us. Shout out to Peyton.
Yeah. First of all, she texted me duck farts and I was confused, which at the end of the last podcast, I said, text me duck farts if you made it this far.
That's awesome.
And I also mentioned that I'll probably forget, and both of those things happened. And so I was really confused at first.
Okay.
But she said that she really enjoyed the podcast, that it had her laughing out loud. So I'm going to take this as a moment to be full of ourselves and say, this is a good podcast.
Woo, we're
if
getting
it can have
there.
someone laugh out loud, job well done.
That last episode
I also have to say,
was absurd.
That is my favorite. Yeah, that is my favorite episode we've recorded. That's always the one I recommend, even though the content. But yeah, no. Which
it was a good one. Yeah,
I have now met someone else who enjoys Swiss Army Man. So
there you go. Yeah, I laughed pretty hard when she said that she liked it. I was like, oh man, she's got to listen to that episode. So. And it is good when we were contrarian a little bit and not like in a fake way. Like it was, I genuinely hate that movie. So,
yeah,
I did watch it again.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And I hate that movie. It's terrible. Like, I think I hate it more now. Yeah, that's a waste of time. So anyways,
why did you watch it again if you hated it so much?
To see if it was like, to see if it was actually better than I thought it was. Yeah, and I think it is. I just think it's dumb. So, anyways, yeah. So Peyton, share with your friends, your husband, and thank you so much for listening and for writing in. Text Josh something else. Josh, maybe at the end of the episode you'll say another phrase. Thanks for listening to the end, Peyton.
Maybe
that's awesome.
Secrets. Let's just keep adding secrets.
And maybe
Peyton, do we live in Detroit? Do we not?
And maybe Peyton might even be on an episode one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sophie as well.
By the way, Jordan just tried to dox someone. So, no. Sophie, I'm glad that he didn't dox you.
I'm just going to write down. So, yeah, shout out to Sophie, who's our other listener. She listens, I think, almost every week.
Yeah, I think she's our number one fan.
I ran into her somewhere, and yeah, she was like, I listen every week, and when I don't get to listen, I like save it and I listen later. And
number one fan.
Yes.
And so number one friend when it comes to the podcast. Let's go.
So, yeah, actually, anyways, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, she's listened to it more than I have, so
there you go. You should be you should feel bad about that, Josh. You should feel convicted.
Should I?
Yeah, you should.
Should I feel convicted about not listening to myself speak? I feel like that's watching. Like fairly like self-centered.
Right. I mean, you could just call it a humble brag though if you're so like
I'm so humble that I listen to myself
because I'm terrible. Like that's
I'm the worst. I'm absolutely the worst. I sound horrendous. I look horrendous. So I don't watch or listen.
Those are not true things, but I'll let you believe them anyway.
Humble brag. Well, I don't. Yeah. I need to be humble somehow. So if it's like destroying my self-worth, then
right.
Yeah.
So before we get into our show today, let's just go with we don't have any corrections or anything, do we, Josh? Any message that we got?
No.
Anything? We're doing Marvel today, so
there may be corrections in this.
Yes. From
so this is where Curtis comes into play, and he needs to correct us.
Yes. So Curtis, if you want to come on the show, let us know. We could do a Marvel section since we're going to do Ant-Man next.
It'd be cool to get him on Ant-Man.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down for that. So
I'll see him. I'll see him soon, so I'll ask him.
Because he's still, he'll be away, right? So I'm not going to say where he is, but
he's in Michigan.
Right. Well, Michigan is the state.
Is it close to Detroit?
Michigan is the state, Josh.
Yeah.
So Detroit, Michigan.
Oh wait, really? Those?
Yeah.
That just goes to show my lack of knowledge when it comes to states.
If he's in Michigan, he can be anywhere in there.
See, I know more of Detroit because like the Red Wings.
Yeah. What else?
So,
do you know the basketball team? The Pistons?
No.
Red Wings, Pistons, the Tigers.
I know that Barbarian was in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. So, and did you know that Detroit actually looks like that?
I mean, I kind of just assumed it did.
Yeah,
I don't think I've heard like good things about Detroit, and so
it's like a third world country, pretty much within America. Like it's really bad.
That's awful.
No, it's like it's
yeah, we're in the middle of that street.
I think there's like districts getting a slightly better now, but it's
straight out of Detroit.
Because what happened was that's where all the motor manufacturing was happening, and that's where like they were making cars, and then the government started to tax and regulate all that stuff.
This is too much. I think
no, this is good. This is good.
Okay.
And then
I think the auto industry with knowing
crashed there.
The Red Wings.
It just crashed, and then it created all this poverty.
Just
and
like
it's
Marvel.
never gotten better. Just good segue, Josh. Except I was going to ask you how your week was. But
yeah, I know. It would have been a great segue if we weren't going to talk first. My week, you did ask that. My week was good. I don't know. I didn't do a lot. I watched some hockey. It was really cold out. I was at camp.
Mm-hmm.
Today I finally downloaded The Last of Us to play it and like finish the game and then watch the show.
Oh, you're gonna finish the game before watching the show. That's good.
Yeah. And then my brother got like a VR headset, and so we were just playing that.
Did you get the PSVR 2?
No.
Oh, okay.
That thing is so expensive.
It is.
It's like
I have the first one.
Because I have a PlayStation 5. And like the thing is, I spent as much as I did on the PlayStation as I would on the VR. Like like I want to get one of them because like
not a lot is what you're saying, right?
Not a lot.
Like you don't. Do you play your PlayStation a lot? Is that what you're saying?
I do. I use it all the time.
Okay.
But the thing is, they cost the same amount, and so
yeah, it's expensive.
I'm like forking up almost.
Just wait for it. 1,000. Just wait for it to come down.
And like that's the thing.
Will sell it used or something.
I want to get a PSVR 2, but I also want to wait until there's more games on it, like Super Hot and like Beat Saber.
I had PSVR 1 and I love it. I still love it. I know it's like really old.
Yeah.
But
crusty.
I don't know. It's awesome. Like it's still like playing Super Hot on the thing. I know you're not totally wireless, but it's awesome.
I love Super Hot. I punched my friend's wall.
Yeah. And playing like Wipeout in VR is just incredible. Like that's one of the best VR experiences.
And so I really want the PSVR 2 because it has like the eye tracking.
Yes, yeah.
Like it looks.
I've been hearing mixed reviews on that headset though. People are saying the eye tracking is like really messing them up. Yeah, but that's just reviews.
Yeah,
so it's
I'm gonna wait on it. Like I'm not ready to spend that much money on it.
It's a lot. Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I think
VR is a funny thing. VR is fun. It's cool, but it's just like kind of feels like a ride, like an experience instead of, a full-fledged game experience. I remember playing, Resident Evil 7 on my PlayStation 4 in VR.
I could barely finish that game because I just got so anxious. Like
that's still one of the best experiences I've ever had. Like that was an incredible, like crazy experience for a video game. I was like, this is nuts.
When it comes to video games, I get so like anxious or something, and like I have like this competitive nature.
You were saying with scary games, really,
it's not necessarily because of the scary game. It's just I don't want to die, and so like I know as soon as I die, I'll be fine. Maybe I have talked about this before. This feels like I have, but
are you scared of dying?
Well, no, in game, I'm just competitive, and so I'm like, I want to go this whole thing without dying. And so when I'm like facing death, I'm like, no, I'm done. I can't.
Do you like how I just dropped like such a strong philosophical question? in the middle of talking about PS4 2.
Are you afraid of dying? That's also a great segue.
That is. Let's well, we're gonna review Wakanda Forever. So
Well, wait.
yeah.
I know another great segue.
Right.
I know. But it's not fair for us to not talk about your week.
Yeah, it was okay. My week was fine. I don't know.
Winter camp was great.
Winter camp was awesome. I got to go speak there. You were leading that camp with Peyton, so that was good.
Yeah.
And you guys did a good job. The kids had fun. My week was just like, I didn't realize yesterday was Thursday. I was like, oh my goodness, it's already Thursday.
I know,
and then
it
you texted me. So I was like, I was going to text you tomorrow, but like that was Friday. My whole week was all messed up. So I don't know. So like was fine that way. We got our calendars done for my job for April and May. So that's done. And we just realized, like, I work with university students and everyone's gone for reading break. Like,
I know
this reading break,
nothing to do.
This reading break, people went away. So
yeah,
we wanted to do snow tubing tomorrow, but like no one signed up, and the weather was kind of crappy for that. So I think that's what deterred people as well. So
I was gonna go snowboarding yesterday.
You didn't? Oh, that would have been cold.
I know.
So you didn't go,
I know.
Right? Did you go?
No, I didn't, and I'm really disappointed. I still want to go before the snow melts. But
still time.
I also haven't been able to go skating because it's so cold.
Yeah.
By the way, Jordan is so aggressive. We were playing hockey.
It was fun
last weekend, and he was like killing half my campers. There was 2 campers in that skill, and he injured both of them.
I would say injured is a stretch, but
well, I'm sure you traumatized one of them.
Yeah, one of them took a shot in the leg. I
was just howling after.
I was just dumping the puck, and then the puck hit him in the leg, and he was on my team.
Yeah, actually, yeah, he's. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I got a video of Jordan falling. Maybe I'll throw that on the social media.
Yeah, that was fun. So
yeah,
everyone had fun.
Yeah.
So they told me.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to tell it to your face if they didn't, because they're afraid of you.
I do strike fear into people quite often.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so my week was fine. It was just work and admin work, doing books, planning stuff. That's what I do for my job.
Sounds like a blast.
Next week we're back gathering on Monday night, and then which will be good. And then we.
I don't want to go back to school.
Yeah, I have school next week, so that's fun.
I don't want to. My film class is
terrible.
It's so boring. It's making me hate movies. If I just stop doing this podcast,
segue.
Know that it is film class, film 100, film 101.
So, that's a good segue about hating movies or feeling tired.
Making me want to hate movies.
Let's go into our review for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
The most broken people can be great leaders.
His people did not call him general or king. They called him Kukulkan, the feather serpent god. Killing him will risk eternal war.
He's coming for the surface world.
We know what you whisper. They have lost their protector. Now is our time to strike.
Ba-bum-bum.
Okay, so let's get the details
There's
out of the
one
way.
thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
I know. I should be more professional and get this before our transition. But I went and watched Cocaine Bear last night.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It
How'd
wasn't
you
even
feel?
funny.
Did you feel like you wasted your money?
I felt like it was a waste of my life.
Yeah. And money
Like
then.
I really wanted it to be funny, and there was a couple scenes that were funny, but I think it was trying too hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, you shouldn't be trying this hard for
It looks
a
like it'd
movie about
be
a cocaine bear.
it looks like it would be a how I didn't like Swiss Army Man for that reason. It looks like that kind of movie.
Yeah, but like there isn't a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah.
Also, the dialogue was awful.
Yeah.
The CGI was awful. But like, what do you expect from a movie that's based off of a bear who like
Well,
ate cocaine and died within a couple hours?
we should follow that movie and see like each week from now on, like just to see how much money it makes. Because I wonder if that
Yeah.
movie is gonna make a lot of money.
There weren't yesterday. It was open at night, and there was like 5 people in the theater.
Yeah. I feel like it might be just a meme. You know what I mean? Like the trailer.
I mean, that's what it is.
already.
I think
Yeah.
it was,
Okay.
and like maybe it's another Morbius thing, but like Morbius was an act. Like I think.
Well, Morbius was trying to be a good movie. That's
Yeah.
That's
I feel like this movie is trying to be good, or it's trying to be funny, but it isn't.
so with Morbius. Let's just trail into this for a minute. I want to ask you. I'm interested because people were excited for Morbius because people really liked the Venom movies, like Venom 1 and 2. Like, did you like the Venom movies? Do you think they're decent and good?
I enjoyed I haven't seen Morbius, but I did enjoy the Venom movies. Like,
Yeah, so did
I
I.
thought they were
Yeah.
fun. They were like just fun. Like, you don't have to like think too hard.
Mhm.
It's just like Venom.
The
And
second
they're
one was
funny.
worse than the first one, but I still like the second one for
I
what it
still
was.
like the second one too. And like honestly, for me, they were both they're just good, okay movies.
And that's
And
why
like, they
people
don't have
were.
to be anything else.
Well, that's why people were so excited for Morbius because those movies were
But
actually
like, what do you expect when Jared Leto,
hmm
who is just a creepy guy, is in the movie? Like, I don't know.
He's a terrible actor. He's terrible.
And he's creepy,
Yes,
and not like creepy in the way it's like, oh, he really fits the role. He's like a creep.
and he's like a method actor. People really don't like method acting anymore. It's becoming less popular. And
Heath Ledger was good.
well, Heath
but-
Ledger, Daniel Day-Lewis, they're like the known ones that are good, right? And then you have the wannabes like Jared
Rest
Leto.
in peace, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
On too
Yeah.
soon.
Rest in peace. Terrible story, that one.
Speaking
yeah.
of,
So
rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. Man, we're on
Boseman?
fire with the
Boseman?
segues. Except we're actually going to segue with that. It's Boseman, yeah. So Wakanda Forever is this last movie in Phase 4 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness.
But
Ryan Coogler directed it, and it's written by Ryan Coogler and Joe Robert Cole. If you're interested in Ryan Coogler, he also helped write and direct the Creed movies. I think he hasn't. I don't think he's doing the third one. He might be doing the third one. I'm not sure, but he did the Creed, the first two for sure, which are good movies.
I haven't seen them.
Yeah, so he also did the first Black Panther,
which is a good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I
Right.
remember like thoroughly enjoying Black Panther.
and unexpectedly, Chadwick Boseman passed away. I think it was 2020, right? I'm just gonna look that up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it during COVID? He passed away with cancer, and no one really knew he had it.
Yeah, honestly, like it's crazy how like he was acting in Marvel movies while like going through cancer.
Yeah,
And,
he passed away on August 28th, 2020. But keep going, Josh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like he was just living through that and like still showing up and giving these amazing performances. And he's one of those stars that are greatly missed, and like but he definitely made his name known and put it out there while he was here, like in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is a really good movie, and I think it's his last. That movie. Have you seen that, Jordan?
Sorry, seen what movie?
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom or
No, I
Big Black
haven't. No,
Bottom?
you've told me
I
about it
don't know.
before. Yeah, I should
It's
watch
a
it.
good movie. It's one of those movies that are like mostly take place in one room, and
Yeah.
kind of like 12 Angry Men, or
Yep.
but it's like a huge conversation. That movie's really good, and he really put on the show, and like he didn't phone it in even in his times where he was literally dying. But and so I have so much respect for Chadwick in that way, where he's just somebody who is admirable, and like he really loved what he was doing, and you can see that through the way he acted and the movies he was in. Like he really did add something special, and it's really, and going into this movie, I was like, I really hope that they do him justice, and
Right.
that they like, a lot of movies are like, oh, we'll just CGI them in and like
Right. Well,
have this fake, or, like,
let's not a lot of movies. A lot of Marvel movies and Disney
a lot
movies
of
do that.
a lot of Disney movies do, because Disney just has
They
like
like
this catalog of all their actors,
they
and
like invented
so
that technology pretty much.
yeah, and like, I mean, it kind of worked for Star Wars, but
hmm
I feel like it would have been really disrespectful for them to do that, especially so close to his passing. And so I was going in like pretty weary, being like, how are they going to respect his legacy and pay homage to him? And I
Yeah.
think they do a decent job.
So
I think.
Josh, let's review this movie on its own first, as I'm going to
Alrighty.
ask you what you thought of it, and then we'll talk about the problems with the problems, the good stuff, for whatever we feel like with the phase at the end, and we'll spend more time on the actual film than the phase, right?
Mhm.
Because this is a part of a set of movies trying to tell one arcing story within a phase and within a universe, right? So, but let's focus on just this movie alone as a sequel to the first
Yeah.
one, because they're kind of like, the way Marvel does it is there's like trilogies within the phases. They sometimes span the phases, right? But like they'll typically do, they're releasing the third Guardians this year, so
Yeah.
so let's just review it as a film on its own, and then we'll talk about the phase separately. So Josh, what did you think of, what are your thoughts on Wakanda Forever?
Honestly, I I have no idea. This movie I watched with my friends, and I actually fell asleep during the movie.
Okay.
And then I watched the ending back from where I remember that I fell asleep. And then today I watched a summary of it,
Right.
and there's something about this movie that's just not sticking. Like
Okay.
it's almost like it's not, nothing is happening to me. I feel like it wasn't a bad movie. I enjoyed it, but like I feel like it didn't really impact me, or it's not very memorable. And I guess like it makes sense when it's going up against Black Panther, which is like up there in Marvel movies. But I don't know, it just, like, this, I I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it happened. If that makes
Okay.
sense. Like it's almost like it was a dream.
So I feel like that about the first one.
Really?
Yeah. Like I actually think the first one isn't very good.
No.
There's like redeeming parts of it, but I just
I
think,
I haven't seen the first one in a long time,
well,
but yeah.
I think when I went
I
into the
remember
first
liking
one,
it.
it got like nominated for awards and stuff like that. It was nuts. And like people were saying this is the first black movie, and it wasn't. That's not true. And so like it had a lot of political stuff behind it that they were riding. And I felt like how you just described this movie, that's how I felt after watching the first one. And I think the first one's pretty mediocre when it comes to like its special effects. The last fight is pretty terrible. Like it's such a big letdown, considering the villain in the first one is really good. And Chadwick
Mhm.
Boseman is really good. And it's such I felt it was super anticlimactic because it was so predictable, and it looked like a PlayStation 2 game. Like the CG was terrible in that final fight. I didn't hate the movie. Like the movie was kind of just, for me, it was very predictable, very, very mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the story it told. Like I liked how uplifting it was, especially with the Oakland stuff. And like it wasn't, and I didn't hate it, but I felt like it was the worst MCU movie at the time. But the MCU has like totally flipped now. So
yeah, so
but we'll get to that. But like it was definitely
when all the movies were
worst.
good.
It was definitely the worst MCU movie.
So I'm gonna say I actually, like I said, I really enjoyed the movie.
The
I think
second
there
one?
was like no, the first one.
Yeah,
I really liked the first movie. It did come out when I was like 15 years old. So
okay.
my mindset is a lot different, but I feel like if I watch it now, I'll like it, especially because like going back to the older films, they're better now because of what we've been getting.
Right.
And so Ant-Man 1 is going to be so good. Well, I don't know what the new one is like, but it's going to be so good compared to whatever comes out now, which the first one is good. Second one is good in my opinion.
I like the second one. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And so
yeah,
like
it was fun.
Everything feels back then feels so good. Like it's like, oh yeah, this is the stuff.
It's
but I really enjoyed that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So after Endgame, it's been struggling a bit. So yeah.
And so it's interesting how your take on the first one is literally how it goes with me. And where it's just like
Wakanda Forever surprised me.
It didn't surprise me at all.
I love this movie. I can't believe
really
I liked it as much as I did. I've seen it twice. I'm glad I waited. Like I always usually wait for Disney Plus now, unless we want to review something. But
yeah, you see, I'm really glad that you enjoyed it.
Honestly, Josh, like so. This isn't a hard thing to do. Like it's the best Phase 4 movie, I think.
Okay, well, I can agree with that.
That's not hard to do because Phase 4 is terrible.
Although, like, I would say Doctor Strange is also up there.
Oh yeah, Multiverse of Madness. But
see, I had this weird thing with Doctor Strange where I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like.
Then I didn't like it, and now I'm back to like liking it. But I don't know how to.
It's very different than this one, though. Honestly, like this one. The emotional side of this movie like took me aback. I don't know. Like the beginning is like basically a funeral for Chadwick, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so good. Like it's so like nothing Marvel hasn't really done anything like this since Endgame, where it feels very solemn and it's quiet, you know, and it's just there's not a lot of music in the beginning. Like it's just it was
what you're
really
describing
good. Yeah.
Is almost what Andor is to Star Wars.
It is. So. And this movie that's a great comparison, Josh. That is a fantastic. Now this movie has issues. Like this movie is way too long. Like the middle is like holy geez.
I think that's a big part that it's like, oh, what did I like it feels
movie's almost 3 hours long. Like it's 2
hours.
Feels
disconnected to me.
Okay. I think I didn't feel disconnected to me. I just felt like the whole middle part where they find that young girl and then she's building that flying robotic thing.
Like, I was confused. Really long. I didn't know what was happening. I'm like, where did this? Maybe it's because of the like where I was watching it, the environment I was watching around. Like I had my friends with me. We were tired. I literally fell asleep halfway through the movie, but I just felt like I didn't get anything from this movie. I didn't get any of the emotion. And like, I was just confused. And like, I was paying attention.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I was just like, what is happening with this movie? Because I paid attention because I knew that we were going to
review it.
Whatever we're doing right now. We're going to review it. But I was just like, what? It felt like almost like it didn't know what it was doing. It didn't feel connected. And this is something I'll bring up later when we talk about the phase in the whole. But I was just like, what is...
So I didn't... Yeah, I'll push back a bit there. It's fine that you felt like that. I think the reason you felt like that is because in the middle, it feels like... I just think they're trying to do too much.
I didn't even notice that. Spoiler alert, by the way. But if you haven't seen this... like,
yeah, we always spoil stuff.
Yeah. I didn't realize that her mom even died. Like Like I didn't. I I don't know. Maybe I just looked away at that moment, but I just didn't. I was just so it kind of went from the mother talking to Namor or Namor, whatever his name is, to her becoming Black Panther. I was like,
So you missed that whole
and then
like.
and they're like, she's dead. When did she die?
You talking about Namor's mom? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Shuri's
The queen
or Yuri. Why am I
Shuri's? Yeah,
Shuri's mother dying? Like I just
the queen.
I missed that.
Yeah,
I guess. I guess it's on me, but
so this movie, like, I think the weakest part of the movie is the middle, where they are like rescuing that girl, and that's like that's the first time the Wakandans find the water people, right? It's like on that bridge scene, and they throw the water grenade.
See,
it's a pretty cool scene, but
I liked the bridge scene.
Yeah, that one scene is good, but like that whole middle part felt like padding to me.
Yeah,
like it didn't really.
I can tell you all the parts I liked about this film.
Okay,
the bridge scene and the end fighting scene.
And you didn't like anything else in the movie?
Third act. It just didn't feel like
the introduction of the water people was awesome. Like where they're hypnotizing the people on the boat. Like it was actually kind of creepy.
Wait, it was
awesome.
The part where it was like telling us about them and like in Namor's or whatever,
like the background stuff. Yeah, that's like pattern.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. I liked it. It didn't feel like it was.
I liked it. I didn't feel like
Avatar, but
I didn't feel like it needed to be in the movie, but I didn't hate it.
It was good, and that's the thing. There's a lot of parts where I'm like, yeah, that's good, but like, does it work as a film? And I was like, no. And then there's this fake Iron Man.
That's the weakest. That's the weakest part of the movie. That's what I'm talking about. Is that girl that builds
Iron Man here?
That girl that builds that stupid. That's the dumbest part of the movie. Yeah,
like Iron Man?
That part of the that whole character doesn't need to be in the movie. It didn't really play into anything in the end. It was all filler to make an action scene happen. That's literally why it was in there. Because this movie, I felt like
I liked the action scene. It was good.
It was a good action scene, but I felt like it felt very Marvel-y to say, "Oh, we need action." Like, this movie actually was the best when there wasn't a lot of action. Now, I have some issues with maybe I don't. Like when they first, because at the end there's the truce that happens between the water people and Wakandans, right? Talakoians or whatever they're called, right? And then at first I was like, this is stupid. All of a sudden these water people are trucing with them. That makes no sense because they wanted to kill them for good reason.
Yeah.
But he revealed his master plan, right? Which was kind of a dumb way of doing it, like just expository dumb, but like a lazy way of doing it. But I thought that was a cool twist of like saying, no, like we're trucing with them, but the world's going to come after them, and then their reputation will get destroyed. They will get destroyed eventually, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't love the way it was executed, but I liked the outcome of it. I love these water people. Like I thought it was
the Avatar.
Yeah.
Avatar people.
Tolokians or I don't know what they're called. But anyways, I thought they were like pretty menacing. I'm getting kind of tired in these movies in general. Game of Thrones is to blame for this, but I'm getting tired of like the bad guys not being bad. Like, oh, we have to feel bad for the bad guys. Yeah. Like when all that Sherry stuff was happening. Now I do like the overall landing point where he said, now she empathizes with us. That is like her kryptonite, right? So I thought that was cool. Like that's a good, like that made sense. But as it was happening, I was like, oh, this again. Like it's such a trope in every single good versus bad show or movie these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but like I thought the overall feeling in this movie, like it just felt really weighted. Like it felt like there was a lot at stake, and it felt even the backstory with Namor was really good. Like it was just really there was lots of weightiness to it, which I really liked.
It felt like it had a lot at stake, but also at the same time, it felt like none of it matters. And I have 2 points on Marvel, and there's something about the old movies is that as a phase, and I know this is a phase talk, but
well, let's get
as a
into phase
phase,
because this is part of a group of movies. Yeah.
Each movie would have, it would be the movie, right? And then they would have separate parts of it that went towards the phase, right?
Right.
And so this movie felt like all you really needed to know was that Shuri is Black Panther.
Well,
the evil
she's
people
like an
will come
interim Black
back.
Panther, right? She's
Yeah,
like,
and then
which is interesting.
What is his name? Oh, why am I? The Chadwick's Black Panther, his son is alive, and so
right.
Otherwise, this movie feels like they threw a bunch of things at the wall and then connected them and then added it to the end, and
you're right, it was lazy in that way. Like even with the Black Panther's son, we hid him from. I like the reasoning behind it, but like Lupita's character literally just was just like, we've been hiding him. Like, yeah, and so, I don't know why these movies, they can't give at least a minute of screen time to showing that. I don't get it. Instead of just
the movies,
a dump like that.
That's the thing. They feel lazy and they give us the information and that's all we need to know. The thing with the older movies is that the movies were good on top of them giving us that information. These movies aren't great. And so all you get is these main points.
I think this movie and sorry, I keep cutting off.
But this is the same thing as Love and Thunder. It's just,
but that movie's not very good as a movie.
Well, yeah, no, but like you got the main. I don't even know what the main part. Like I don't know how these movies connect. I don't know how Phase 4 connects.
But that's the problem with this phase. So, this phase, there is like it's like let's look at the movies in the phase. Let's look at what has come out for Phase 4.
I have one more point before we go on that. And the thing you mentioned this, Marvel is so caught on this gray, not black and white,
right?
That it's just not Marvel movies anymore. And it's the same. This was also the same thing as Thor: Love and Thunder. Is like they're trying to get these political ideas across.
Yes,
and it's just like, yeah, I get it. People aren't just bad. People aren't just good. There's gray, but like I'm not watching Black Panther to find out that the villains are kind of good. Like I want good versus evil because that's what cinema,
right,
superhero movies are for. You can watch The Boys if you want to get some good, bad. I mean, even in The Boys, they're just bad. Like you can watch other shows or movies, but I feel like the thing that Marvel is losing is their identity, and what the reason why they became popular is because they're comic book movies. They're trying to make you feel like a kid again, like you woke up on a Saturday morning and you're reading a comic book. And that's the thing,
right? This
movie doesn't feel like that. Thor doesn't feel like that. Thor is a wannabe comedy that is somewhat edgy.
Well, I felt this movie took itself way more seriously just overall. Like even Thor Ragnarok
it did.
took itself more seriously when it had a story to tell while being hilariously entertaining, right? So
this movie took itself seriously, but it's not. It doesn't feel like Marvel. Like these movies don't feel like Marvel movies.
Okay, so here's the issue. This is what. Let's get down to it. Like this is gonna get real nerdy, but this has to do with storytelling and comic books in general. Because I read comics, I like them. This phase is so let's look at what has been in this phase, shows and movies, right? We have WandaVision, Black Widow.
WandaVision was in this phase?
Yeah. It kicked off this phase, technically. It was the first thing.
I like that show.
So Guardians Holiday Special, which I didn't see.
I've seen that. It's all right.
Shang-Chi.
I like that.
Eternals, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Spider-Man No Way Home, Thor Love and Thunder. So actually, okay, so we have like some decent movies.
Was Loki in it?
Loki was. Oh, it doesn't say here that Loki.
Because Loki came out after WandaVision. So did Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Loki might technically be phase 3. I'm just looking here.
Oh, so at the beginning of the year it was kind of like a weird thing where some of them were phase 3 and some of them were
Loki is phase 4. Spider-Man Far From Home. So Spider-Man Far From Home was the end of phase 4. That was the first movie after Endgame, which I liked.
End of phase 3.
End of phase 3, sorry, yeah. Which I liked that movie, but it wasn't super strong. Like the third, like
No Way
Spider-Man,
Home?
Far From Home, like the second one was the end of
What?
phase 3.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's fine. Like it is, it's not like the third one's way better,
Wait, sorry. I'm really.
How's it
Isn't
going?
that the third? Isn't the third one the one we're talking about?
Far From Home is phase 3.
Oh
No Way
yeah.
Home is the third movie.
And that's in phase 4.
That's the one that's really good with like all.
Oh yeah, I thought
bad
you were
guys.
saying that one was bad. I was
No.
like, excuse, or just all right. Right,
So
that makes more
you
sense.
have like Shang-Chi. I didn't hate either.
I like
Shang-Chi
Shang-Chi.
felt a lot like what you described. Like it was kind of throwaway because the implications it gave, you knew wouldn't extend like with the ending, but the ending was cool. Like I did like that movie. Yeah,
was really good.
It was good. Yeah. So like there's
enjoyed that.
good movies in this phase. There's Shang-Chi. There's
like
No Way
3.
Home. There's
I liked Black Widow.
Multiverse of Madness.
Not a lot
which
of
was
people
good.
liked. Not a lot of people liked Black Widow, but I liked it.
Okay, I'm glad you liked it. Black Widow sucked, so it was terrible. And so I would say like Multiverse of Madness, or No Way Home, Shang-Chi, WandaVision, and then
Moon Knight
this movie are probably the best Phase 4 things.
and Moon Knight.
I haven't seen that, so I can't comment.
Moon Knight is good.
Okay,
I liked Moon Knight.
so
That was the first and last time that I felt that the MCU was doing something different.
Yeah, so like here's the issue is the MC like Marvel introduced 2 of its best villains in comics ever in this phase, and they totally just like ruined them. Like the
So
God
is that
Killer.
Scarlet Witch?
Actually no, 3 I guess. So
Scarlet Witch. Ah,
God Killer,
yeah, I know. That's
and then
it feels
this Namora is supposed to be really good too. Like he's a good villain. So the problem with this movie
Namor?
is, or Namor, sorry, yeah.
Namor.
So like these are some of the strongest villains, because the one thing about Marvel is that their villains aren't very good compared to DC. Like DC has better villains and does better darker stuff. Like, does the darker stuff and the heavier stuff, the more adult stuff better than Marvel does.
Yeah.
So I think the problem with this phase is you don't have that central building up point. Like starting in the end of phase 1 for Marvel, they brought in Thanos, right? And that was like the first image of Thanos, and the whole thing led up to Thanos. And we don't have.
I thought that was phase 2.
I think it was beginning of phase 2. Like they teased it at the end of phase 1. Like it was an extra credit.
Oh yeah.
Scene.
The thing is with comparing phase 1 and phase 4 is, which phase 4 is trying to do what phase 1 did.
Yeah.
Phase 1 is like the start. Nobody knew the potential, and so they couldn't let us down because they didn't know. We didn't know how good it could get. Phase 4 is trying to do that, but it just doesn't work.
No,
like no one knows what is going on.
Well, the problem is nothing really feeds into another. Like, so the problem with Eternals was like that's like end of the world type.
Like I didn't even realize that feeds in with.
But here's the problem though, is that there's like end of the world bad guys in Eternals that never show up in any other phase 4 movie. You know what I mean? And like there's implications that happen in these, and even in Shang-Chi where like another realm is opened up, and it's like, and then we haven't even seen anything about Shang-Chi.
Doctor Strange is different.
Yes. And I think they're trying to
universes and
right. And I think they're using the excuse of saying that like, oh, the universes are all, it's like multiverse, and like they don't really affect, like I think that's the excuse they're kind of trying to get away with that.
But that feels lazy.
It is. It's not. It doesn't work. That's not even what the movies are.
It's like, about, they're happening in different worlds. Well, no.
And there's no like central thing uniting.
Write better stories.
Right. And there's no central thing feeding into each movie. Like even with Wakanda Forever, it just felt like a Black Panther sequel from phase 3? You know what I mean? Or that was phase 3, right? Like it just felt like a sequel to that movie instead of like patching together this overall phase because like
Are they
at the
building
end,
towards the new Avengers? Because there's new Avenger movies
not
coming.
not on
out,
film,
right?
no. Like there's no implication to why the Avengers even need to be built in any of these movies. You know what I mean? Like there's no
Yeah,
reason.
and then
Yeah.
what's his name? Kane? Is that his name?
Yes.
Like he doesn't
From
even
Loki.
show up until Ant-Man.
Which is phase 5. Yeah.
And so it's like, what? He was in Loki?
Yes, he was like the architect to like the time.
I didn't
person.
know that. I watched that whole thing.
Yeah, you didn't like Loki. I did like Loki. It was good.
I thought Loki was boring, but I don't know. It's just the thing is, and this is why I know that it's like good to review Marvel movies because this is what is on top. But the thing with it is, I'm just getting so tired of talking about them. It's just like these movies aren't doing anything for me.
Okay.
There's no excitement. Like I don't have any excitement for Ant-Man. Someone was like, "Oh, it's actually pretty good." I'm like, "No, it probably isn't good because none of these movies are good, and I'm sick and tired of getting my hopes up."
So
And
okay, when it comes to comic book movies, right, Josh? Did you like the Batman? You did.
I loved the Batman.
Do you
that
still
was,
like it? Do you still love
I
it?
still really enjoyed that
Yeah.
movie. And so comic book movies aren't bad. It's literally just Marvel and like DC has their ups and downs, but they're trying to do better.
I think
right?
the thing with Marvel that's hurting it, I think the phase system is currently hurting it. I think it should have
putting themselves in bubbles.
Well, Endgame, they should have just released. This is why WandaVision actually worked really well because no one really knew if it was a part of.
I really enjoyed WandaVision.
But here's the reason why it worked so well is because no one really knew if it was part of a phase or not. Like it felt like a standalone thing, and then it was cool that it actually tied into Multiverse of Madness. You know, like it was cool that it actually did both really well. Like it was standalone.
That was like one of the only times that I can say that, and then Loki and Ant-Man are the only times I can say that the movies connect.
Yes.
And like Marvel movies are just like, what are they doing? They had such a high, and now they're hitting such a low.
How did the Spider-Man movie end? Like the end credit scene or scene? I can't remember. Like how did No Way Home? What was that end credits scene?
I know that it ended with him being like in the coffee shop, but I can't even.
Because even not even knowing, like not even remembering that, like obviously there's nothing really.
Then there's the Eternals end credit scene.
There's nothing happening where you're like, whoa, I can't wait to see that happen, right? Like there's nothing.
Did any of the end credit scenes like count? Because like
no, they don't feel like they do, right?
Harry Styles, where did Harry Styles go?
Okay, no. So the Eternals actually, so the Eternals. Has the best end credit scene in my opinion because I'm now worried for Blade. Like at first Blade was going to be awesome, but
I forgot about Blade.
But the directors have changed. It's no longer rated R. Like they have
end credit scene
on Blade. So Eternals had the first image of the vampires come in with the sword, and like it was the first time.
Yeah,
like that was cool. So
yeah.
Maybe I haven't seen Moon Knight yet. Maybe there's more.
Moon Knight,
Blade stuff
I think,
in there,
had some stuff hinting towards that. Don't quote me on that because I literally can't remember which movies had which end credit scene, which shows did. Another part was Daredevil being connected, kinda between like Daredevil showed up in Multiverse of Madness and in She-Hulk.
Whoa, he was in She-Hulk sucks.
Which I love Daredevil. I really hope they don't murder his character.
Well, that was Netflix's fault, right?
So. They were close to killing. Well, the show is good.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Marvel could, like, they were close to ending that. My respect for him and She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the part with him in it because I was like, I didn't finish She-Hulk.
Well, do you know She-Hulk ends? It's like this meta fourth wall breaking thing where the writers pretty much congratulate themselves. Like it's terrible.
That's the whole show. That's not the ending. That's the whole show.
No, they literally, the end of the show, they go into the writer's room for Marvel movies. And you see the writing team. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's terrible.
Jordan, this is gonna be the death of me. I can't with
Here's the thing though,
Marvel's killing me.
with this movie, like this movie, I like this movie. Like I was like,
Yeah,
I'm excited. Like
it's all right.
until the end credit scene, I'm like, that was kind of stupid. The end credit scene, and because why can't you just make Shuri Black Panther like forever? You know, because
Yeah,
I
she
like
was really
her.
cool as Black Panther.
I really like her. I think she's awesome.
I do
I think
too.
she's a fun character. I liked her rebellion towards her mom before she passed away. Like I liked, like
I
even
just
that
feel like-
even that line where she's like, "You just hung up on the queen," and she's like, "You mean my mom?" Like it was funny.
Yeah.
Like I laughed, and like
And maybe it's because
the entrance of these bad guys was really good. It kind of felt like an X-Files episode a little bit, or like a alien thing. Like it was cool. Like it was. I was like, this is the strongest, maybe next to Multiverse of Madness, which I still love. This is probably
you can't
the strongest
beat
Marvel.
Spider-Man.
Right. So like those three movies are probably the strongest because I like them each differently for different reasons. Like I like
I would rather watch
Forever.
WandaVision and Moon Knight before watching this again.
Well, the ending of WandaVision though is so weak. But anyways,
yeah, but the show altogether is strong.
It's a great show. Yeah, that show is really good.
But like the thing is, that show was too good for this. And like back to like, why do they even have these phase things? They're just limiting themselves.
Well, I think so. With Phase 4, I think the problem is that clearly, like they don't know where they're going. They don't. Like,
Nope.
and Kevin Feige says there's a plan, but like either maybe this was a phase where they were like trying to throw stuff at the wall to see what would work for future phases. Maybe it was like an experimental.
Well,
thing.
I sure hope so. These next
that's what it felt like.
Better be the best.
Because they keep saying there was like a driving force, but like this is the ending of Phase 4, and there's nothing in this movie.
It feels like nothing happened
that caps anything off because nothing did happen, Josh. That's the problem.
And right? So Marvel's gonna have to make something so good to make me want to watch them again.
Because everything that happened in this phase gets like cut off. So like even the villains from Spider-Man No Way Home, they like go back home, right? And like everything gets reset. Multiverse of Madness opens up all these dimensions. Everything gets reset, right? And then we have Eternals, all these beings.
Everything gets reset.
The Celestials are coming and they're gonna kill everyone. And it's like this big bad guy, and they never get heard of again, right? Or heard from
every
again.
show ends the same way that it started.
Right.
Nothing happened.
Even the God Killer, I didn't like the way that movie ended because all of a sudden he just gives up his life for his daughter. There's no real implication. Which is like
wholesome, but also they did him so dirty.
And it just didn't fit with that character because in the anyways, like that character would never do that. So like that is one of the best Marvel bad guys of all time. That is one of the best Marvel bad guys of all time.
I really enjoyed him in the movie. Well,
yeah, and then he's just like, I thought that was going to be the bad guy for the rest of.
You know what they're doing? They're just snapping them out of here. They're just
like imagine
they're all Thanos. Like you're gone.
He would have been the villain from now on, leading into Phase 5. But now it's going to be Namora. Is that his name? Right? What's his name? Namor. Like I liked him enough, but that's going to be. I kept
thinking it was Neymar Jr.
But that's going to be the bad guy moving forward, which is like,
besides Kane,
whatever. Yeah, but Kane was only in one property of this phase.
But the thing is, for an end credit scene somewhere. It doesn't even feel like Namor. Like he doesn't feel like anything. Like I feel like he didn't even feel like a villain. Like he was like, "Oh, we're gonna get them while they least expect him." I'm like, who are you?
I thought the more they explained him, the worse he got. I think at the beginning he was pretty menacing.
Fluttery feet.
He was pretty scary. Like it was pretty good, and then they started giving all that backstory, which is
Thanos snapped away his good. They take it. They take that good character and Thanos snap it away. Take half of it and leave the worst part.
So here's the thing with Kane. Kane is a very strong villain in the Marvel universe. he leads to Secret Wars, which is like one of the biggest comic book events in Marvel's history. So that's where it's going. But you have to know
care?
But you have to know
Not
the comics. Really. Do you know anything about Secret Wars?
Nope.
No, because you don't read the comics. So like,
and like most Marvel fans don't read the comics.
Not most MCU fans don't read the comics, right? So it's like, and if you have to go to a comic to get a backstory, I can kind of get it to an extent. I think you should. The way these movies used to be written was you could go to the comics to get more of the story.
And you benefit off of that.
But now you're going to the comics to fill in the gaps that aren't being told that's the thing, properly. They're just like,
oh, the comics will do it. I'm like, you're supposed to take reference from that, take inspiration from that, and put it in the movie.
And tell a good story.
I'm not going to read a comic book to enjoy Thor: Love and Thunder. No, that movie isn't worth it.
Now, I did feel like this villain in Wakanda Forever was the most next to Scarlet Witch, because Scarlet Witch is the strongest villain in this phase with the best backstory, the most developed story, right?
And she died to rocks.
I did feel like this movie did a good job setting up the villain. Like, I understood most of his motivations. They made sense. I felt a little bad for him, even though I was tired of feeling bad for villains. Like, I did feel like the movie did a good job setting everything up properly. And I'm glad they didn't kill him right away. And I'm glad that there is that twist at the end of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, of the audience thinking that truce is stupid, but all of a sudden this truce is a part of his grand plan. I thought that was strong. Like, I thought that was, it was way better than Thor: Love and Thunder when he's all of a sudden giving his life for his kid.
Well, Thor: Love and Thunder is one of the, next to Eternals, is the worst movie.
It just sucks.
It's sucks. So bad. And the thing is, I don't know. Marvel is just, I feel like they're just beating me over the head with a bat over and over again and expecting me to like it. Like, stop beating me up. I'm not enjoying this.
So those are our thoughts on the phase. That's our thoughts on the movie. Josh, like, I thought the special effects of this movie were pretty good. Some of it was kind of cheesy, but like, I just liked the way this movie, like, it felt like a spy movie, which was kind of neat. Like, I like spy movies and spy thrillers.
I don't know where you got that from.
Just like the whole UN and the government stuff, and like, I liked all that, and like the world stage with Wakanda, like the main. There's a lot of tension coming from Wakanda on the world stage. You know, I thought that was interesting. So, anyways, what would you give this movie out of 10 doors?
I don't know, like 5
out of 10.
5, yeah. I'm just so sick of Marvel, and I'm not excited for Ant-Man. I'm not excited to talk about Ant-Man. I want it to do well because I like Ant-Man.
Right.
But I don't expect it to do well. And usually if I go into movies with low expectations, I somewhat enjoy anyways.
Go into it with a good attitude. Try to have a good attitude.
I will try to. And if we go, I think we're going to go to it together. So you're going to have to like slap me over the face.
It's a new phase.
Like, hey,
new beginnings.
So I want it to be good. I really want Ant-Man to be good, but I'm just Marvel, like, just let me go. This is a toxic relationship.
This is why it would be nice to bring Curtis on if we can, because I think he's a bit warmer on it than you are, right? But
I don't know. I think I'm just starting to become like a grumpy old man when it comes to this.
Right.
So Curtis can really make up for my lack of empathy and care for.
Like, when you compare any of these movies to the Batman, like the Batman is
like a different level. Way out of the league. Like, you can't
it feels like a different universe.
I don't think it's fair to compare them.
Yeah. Like, it feels like a film. You know what I mean?
It does, and that I really enjoyed Batman because of that. Like, it's a movie that I'm gonna remember. I forgot about Eternals. I forgot about Loki. I wish I forgot about Thor: Love and Thunder, but
I wish I forgot about Eternals. Eternals was terrible.
Yeah, and we went to that one together, right? And it's just
I think I fell asleep.
I just
We did go to that
I
one
shake
together.
my
didn't we?
head.
Yeah, we did.
I shake my head to even watching it in theaters was forgettable, and usually I'm like take something from that, but it reminded me of when I went to Justice League in theaters, and I started like
thank goodness for the Snyder Cut.
I started putting down the recliner and seeing how long I could keep my feet up,
right?
Because I was just
so I would give. So I'm warmer on this movie. I would, out of 5 stars, I will give this movie 3 out of 5 stars. So
yeah,
I like this movie. It's not like,
see that it doesn't sound warmer, but
honestly,
out of 5,
Josh,
that is a lot better.
Honestly, Josh, I think 3.5. No, I'm gonna stick with a 3. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a 3.5. I like this movie. It's better than the first one. It's a great way to end this phase. Like, I just like the way it was really solemn, and I did
Honestly,
like its
I
tribute
like
to Chadwick.
the Guardians of the Galaxy better.
Well,
The Christmas special.
Oh, I didn't see
There's a
that.
Christmas special.
So I just I liked the levity in this movie, I liked the weight in this movie. Like, I liked that it didn't lean in. Like, it was just really serious, and I felt like the acting was really good. Shuri was really good. The Angela Bassett,
I like Shuri,
who plays the Queen, was excellent. She actually should have got, like, she won an award for that. I thought that it deserved that award for supporting actress, because she was really good in this movie, like, with dealing with the grief, and her protectiveness over Shuri was really good. Yeah, I actually really like this movie. Like, I think the bad guys are pretty decent. The motivation was there. I thought the way it looked was pretty cool. Like, even the part with the car exploding up in the air, like, I didn't think that needed to be in the movie, but it looked cool.
Michael Bay.
The worst part of the movie was the Iron Man, the poor Iron Man. That whole
the dollar
sequence
store
was,
Iron Man,
was terrible. So that just needed to be cut. But yeah, this movie is like too long. Like, it's too long. But like, I didn't honestly, like, I watched it twice, and I love this movie. It's really good. Like, I will watch it again in the future. So
I'm glad you enjoy it.
I was surprised I liked it that much, because I did not like the first one that much. So I just felt like I felt like the message and everything in this movie was better too. Like, it's about grief, right? And it's about still living with life and the problems life throws at you through grief. And like, it's just, I really liked it. I don't know. I thought it did a really good job with all that stuff. It is slower. It is long. So I get it. I get why, there's a lot of people that feel the way you do, like, that I've talked to. So that kind of just felt whatever about this movie. But I don't know. This movie took me back. Like, I just thought it was really good. So I liked it. But I like darker, more serious stuff. And I like it when universes take a different approach like that, like Andor, right? Like, I thought Andor was better. But
I would like it if they more leaned into that, because I
agree. It would be better. Yeah.
Like, if they actually, because Doctor Strange was a whole change in movies. And so there's one thing that the Phase 4 did well is trying different things. But even then,
it didn't do well.
They didn't really do it well. Terrible. Not well. I enjoyed the fact that they attempted it. They didn't do well.
But Josh, what was actually different? They actually didn't. They say that, but nothing was.
Well, really, no. Doctor Strange did something different.
Well, yeah, but you have a totally different director.
Things that did well did do something different.
Okay, that's
WandaVision was different. It was weird old sitcom. Well, it was really good. Well,
it was different until episode 6.
Yeah.
Then it got worse.
Honestly, I remember more of the sitcom part of that show.
That's the best.
The rest of it is whatever. Doctor Strange did well because it went into more of the more eerie horror sides of it, and I enjoyed that. Moon Knight it felt more like DC. It was darker. It was scarier. It was good.
Okay.
This one went into more of the emotional thing, which you enjoyed it. I didn't.
Yeah.
But they didn't go too into it. And so the rest is whatever. They were all just Marvel. The things that they tried different.
Well, this movie is pretty predictable. Like, that's a bad It has a formula. You know what I mean? So like this movie wasn't the riskiest out of the phase. Like
No.
it's predictable.
And honestly,
yeah,
I understand why it isn't, because it's dealing with, like, they can't go that risky when it's dealing with the loss of an actual person. And so
well, I think you can. I think it could have been more surprising. I think the other stuff in the movie was really well done, that I didn't mind the predictability of it. You know what I mean? Like I thought,
yeah,
like I was bought in.
that's fair.
Like
I'm
I
glad
wasn't
you
bought in
enjoyed
with Eternals. Like that movie sucks. That movie's terrible.
I forgot
Like
what happened in that
when
movie.
you have so many flashbacks in the movie that you have to tell us what the flashback is, where it is taking place, because it's so confusing. Like that's bad. Get a better writer.
I'm glad
That's
that
terrible writing.
the one actor, what's his name? Barry Keoghan. He was in Eternals,
who's
and
the
then he ended
Joker?
up going into what?
He's the Joker in the Batman.
Really?
You didn't know that?
I did not know that. I enjoy him. He did really well in the Banshee of Inisherin, or whatever it's called.
I gotta watch that
So
movie. The Banshees of Inisherin. Yeah, I gotta watch that.
I'm glad that he was able to come out of there and still have a good career, because like he was my favorite part of the Eternals movie.
But he's been in other stuff. Wasn't he in Chronicle?
I have no idea, but I've more noticed him recently, and so he was in Dunkirk.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our review of Wakanda Forever. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of a review.
yeah, Josh feels like he's getting abused.
I do. They just keep hitting me.
And we're about to go
Like, where
see
do I
another
report
Marvel
them?
movie.
Ah,
But it's the start of new things, Josh.
deep cleanse.
Maybe you'll like
deep
it.
cleanse.
Maybe you'll like
I
it
think
better.
you might need to hit me over the head with a bat
We'll
to
see.
make me enjoy that movie.
We'll see. I mean, Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, Evangeline Lilly,
I
lots of
love
good people.
Ant-Man.
Yes,
I really like Batman. Not Batman, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
And Paul Rudd is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I think that will be good. I think he as a character will do well.
Okay.
So I guess I have some hope for it. I just don't think the movie's going to be good. But Paul Rudd, I don't think that he's going to let me down, because I don't think he can.
So the next movie we're reviewing is Ant-Man Quantumania,
Yeah.
I think it's called, right? So
yeah.
just
And
because
then, you
that's
know
our
what we should do
first,
after
that's
that?
our first tentpole theater movie.
Yeah.
And then Josh, yeah, what should we review after that, Josh? You can pick.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Okay, let's do that. We'll do that after that.
I want to talk about a movie that I really like
Okay.
and that will make me happy. Because after 2 Marvel, I just need something that will make me feel good.
By the way,
So-
what our tentpole movies this year? I forgot about this. I think it's coming out this year or next year. I can't remember, but the Joker sequel, I think is
Does that
coming
come
out
out?
this year.
When does that? Oh.
I don't know, but
Huh.
it looks pretty crazy. It's like same people, but Lady Gaga plays Harley Quinn, and it's a musical.
Oh, a musical.
So, yeah.
Huh.
Like I'm actually really excited for it. So,
What?
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Marvel has just like killed me a little, and I just don't get excited for movies anymore. Except for Cocaine Bear.
You
I
didn't
was
like that
excited for
movie.
Cocaine Bear. I was
You were
excited for it.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing really like what's coming out that is exciting. I don't know. Like there's nothing.
A
really.
Mario.
Yeah, that I'm excited for that. To be honest.
Okay, I mean their advertisement is literally insane. Like they're doing so well. Like good job, Nintendo.
Well, it's Nintendo. They're like
But like
that movie
it's
should be
Nintendo.
because
But it's Illumination.
yeah, I'm a little worried still about that, but
I don't know. Maybe
it does look good though. It looks good.
Maybe their advertisement attempts will be in vain.
Like I've been happy with the trailers. Like it looks
Yeah,
good.
and
So
that might be its downfall.
yeah, we'll see. But Jack Black as Bowser, whoever had that decision, that is probably one of the best casting decisions I've seen in a long time. So good job.
Yeah. It's a loaded cast.
Yeah, there we go. Well, thank you for listening to our show, the Cinematic Doors podcast. And don't forget, you can find us on the Twitters, the Instagrams, and you can email us, cinematicdoors@gmail.com, Instagram @cinematic_doors, and Twitter's @cinematicdoors. Interact with Josh over there because he gets lonely. So he would love to see your interaction. Yeah. Let us know what movies you want us to review. Let us know if there's any classics you want us to review. Let us know if there's any corrections you have for us, Curtis, pertaining to Marvel movies. And if you want to even be on the show for a particular episode, let us know.
We'll think about it. Our prices are fairly high because you have to pay to be on our show.
I think...
I'm joking.
I think in a couple months it would be cool to, or even for Ant-Man review, if Curtis wants to come on.
Yeah, and you know what? It's the 15th episode, so it makes sense.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Milestone first
episode. And Curtis has corrected us in the past, so maybe not on the show, but in person. So then he went silent. So maybe he stopped listening to us, which makes
I'll try to talk to him.
So
it'll probably be remote for him, but like
that's fine. So. We're remote. So okay, well, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Also, if you made it this far, make sure to text us bat crap crazy.
Back crap crazy.
No, bat crap crazy.
Bat crap crazy. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
What do you get if you text...
Marvel's making me go bat crap crazy.
What do you get if you text Josh that? What do you get, Josh? Do you get anything?
I will shout you out.
There you go. Not your last
I'll give you a high five.
We won't dox you.
Yeah, Jordan won't dox you.
Okay, well, thank you for listening. Like and share with your friends. We want to grow this. Let us know how we can grow it, what we need to do for you to grow it. And remember, we are local, so that is one of our strengths. Yeah. Josh?
Local to Detroit.
What do you say, Josh?
Don't forget to close the door on the way out.
Ciao.
And close the door on Marvel.